Howdy folks, my name's Christian and welcome to Bullish on Farming. Today I am trying something with our gilts. If you've seen a previous video, I mentioned we've sent one pig so far off to the butcher who's at 220 pounds at just under 5.5 months old. And we're happy about that because our finishing goal is 250 at 6 months. So we're pretty well there, folks. But today I want to show this little temporary paddock that I've made, if you want to call it that, or a pen, just with poly braid wire on our regular steel posts that we use for mob grazing and our Gallagher insulators. Reason being because we got another 2 pigs off to the processor in a few days, and although we have a great loading pen in here, which is kind of like a training pen in the spring, with our wire on the inside and our physical barrier on the outside, but also our loading pen. So when we want to send off our pigs, we move them into this first paddock, and these pigs are so well trained, they follow a bucket of feed or a call. I walk them all in here and, put some produce on the ground, some yummy treats, or bring their grain in here. And with our sorting boards, just walk out the pigs we don't want nice and calmly. And so they're on the other side of the page wire fence, and the girls that we want to go stay in here for the night. And they'll be comforted by the group just on the other side of this fence. That's the idea. And well, after just spending the night in here, they'll have feed, of course, and water. You'll see this little half pen I've made here. And in the evening, I put their feed right there, and she'll have access to the water right here. And this is our gate, which is usually closed, so she can't escape. But so she doesn't feel too confined, we have this open area. Usually in the morning we show up and she's right by the feeder. And if she's not, then we just calmly walk her into this pen and place a skid or a board nice and calmly right there. And then you got this small little pen right here with the gate closed. It looks like that. And that's a nice space to work with when you have your trailer backed up perfectly. This is an 8-foot wide gate. There's no seams for that pig to get out. You got a ramp to get up. And you got this space to work with, 2 or 3 people with boards. The idea is just to calmly push the pig forward through the gate. Now, last time we were loading, the problem we had was the big foreign object on the farm, aka the trailer, because we don't have our own stock trailer here. We hire a guy, and so he comes up and backs up, and all of a sudden the pig does not want to move. Now, I don't want to get too much into this, but I am a believer, after working with animals, that they do know when their time's coming or when something out of the ordinary is up. They're extremely intuitive creatures. And this is why we're so mindful of the logistics, management, and handling of our animals from start to finish, because we want to make it a seamless, enjoyable experience the whole way. We want that animal to express their livelihood to their fullest potential with the best conditions. But of course, it's a farm animal. It came on the farm to be raised for meat, and it serves the higher purpose in that fashion. And so its time does come. And if the pig is calm around you and is familiarized and socialized with humans and used to being called and moved and managed and handled, they're just way easier to work with, folks. You don't want loading your animals to be a whole event where it's this big stressful day. Okay, with your compassion and mindfulness, you can mitigate your risk and stress by just working with these animals daily and with a good positive mindset, which obviously requires some love in your heart. But we won't get too deep into that either. Now, I just want to mention that I wouldn't try this pen trick with the pigs any younger, really, than 2 or 3 months. Not that there would be a reason to be, because they don't ship off that early. The reason why I'm saying that is because you want your pigs to be very well wire trained before you try stunts like this. And by 2 or 3 months, they are very well wire trained. But things happen, folks, and pigs are very mysterious creatures when you're not watching. And all animals on the farm seem to be. And anything's possible when it comes to nature. So these girls being in the system for about 5.5 months now, I've built great confidence in them on their wire consciousness and how trained they are to fence. And so I'm confident to do this, but I'll only have it open during the day. At night, I put them back in, and they'll have their main barrier fencing around them, what they're familiar to going through the night with. Because like I say, you never know what's going to come through here, trip on this fence, maybe a deer, coyote, fox, and then you just got your pigs loose. And although I'm sure they wouldn't go too far, as everything they need is right here, and every day they live in the abundance of what nature offers them, and I call them and they follow me. All these things just put a little bit more confidence in this process. But remember, folks, the idea is to always keep your animals in the fencing. You never want to do this and feel like you're gambling, okay? You got to know your animals, know your farm, know your system, and with confidence, make some educated decisions. I guess that's all I'll say on that. So as you can see, these girls have made themselves nice and comfy. I was thinking that maybe because they had never walked through this main door and they've just moved through the paddock gates on the inside of our system, that this door was a little bit of a psychological barrier, which does happen with pigs. However, it has always been a physical gate with no electric fencing in front of it. So as soon as I set it up, I noticed that the pigs walked out right away, started rooting and eating the produce I laid out for them. And so I'm still going to do this, see if it makes a difference for the next load. Who knows, maybe that one pig separated from the group. I don't want to ramble on too much about it because there's many factors. Bottom line is we got the pig loaded. It just took a little longer. She was hunkering down and not really wanting to move. So you have to give her a little bit of tough love, and you're working with boards, so you're really just kind of a human wall pushing the animal. And you do that at their own pace and allow them to make their own decisions. And so I'll just contextualize this whole loading thing by giving a little bit more background information. I've mentioned before, but I'll say it now. This is a 6-paddock forest raised pork system. So in paddock 1, we have their training pen / loading pen. Okay. And then paddock 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all rotational pens. The only difference is they don't have a loading pen in it. And so when loading day comes, I do have it timed. For us, it's always going to be in the fall. I had the pigs up in paddock 3, and we're back in paddock 1. So this morning, I just opened the gates, dragged their feeders back. They came in no problem. This has been resting for about, 25 days. Let's see. No, sorry, that would be 30 days. And no, anyways, 25, 30 days, whatever. And I had the pigs in here for about 2 days when we loaded that last pig 2 weeks ago. So it's a little bit of jumping around right now, but we don't mind it. And we're still sticking with 2-week pasture rotations, but accommodating these loading dates. So bringing the pigs back for 2 days, that one day so that they're all together, and then that night isolating the pigs we need to send for processing while keeping the company close by. And I recommend that, folks. It's just a lower stress way of shipping off your animals if you can do it. I built this thing from the ground up, so I kind of built it with start to finish in mind, although it's not perfect. So far, it's worked great. No complaints. And it's cheap, and it's very do-it-yourself. And as you can see, the gates here are just T-posts guided by rebars. to just slide those skids on down and that they have some rigidity to them. And I just use some baler twine to tension up those T-posts so that it hugs the skid nicely. And since it's that way, since the pigs are small, I've noticed that even though they can probably lift that gate now with their nose, they just don't do it. I think it might be one of those conditioning things from when they're small. They just don't do something and see something and grow up with it, and they're kind of conditioned to it. So from my personal experience, absolutely no problems with that gate. I thought it might be a little flimsy. I might have to kickstand it from the back, but it seems that growing the pigs in here with a good life, giving them everything they need, moving them on good rotation periods, and making sure that the land is ready to accommodate the animals next time they return to that paddock is enough to keep our pigs home. And we are happy about it. I brought out another 6 crates of market produce this morning. And although we got some nice green coverage here in this paddock, take a look at this one, which will be the last paddock of the season. They still got about a month till they're in here, because they got paddock 5 and 4 to rotate in before that. So things are going good, folks. It's the end of September. We're pretty much in October in a couple of days. And Thanksgiving's on the horizon. And we got beef leaving the farm, pork leaving the farm, got a bunch of chicken, all pasture raised, organic, beyond organic, in the sense that all our animals are on the land, moving in nature's life processes. And for those of you who've been watching our videos, you know that we're all about raising animals in nature's design, how nature intended the life cycle of these animals to be. And if you're into that stuff, you're welcome here. And if you're not, you're still welcome here. Anyone who would really like to just enjoy these videos, they're for you. So God bless you. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you on the next one.